You thought your soulmate loved you. The reality will shock you. And don't scroll past this moment, because the reason you're here right now is not coincidence, it's alignment. And listen to this carefully, because this message is for you and your heart needs this right now, even if part of you is already bracing for what you're about to hear. You believed in the connection with everything inside you. You didn't imagine it. You didn't force it. You felt it naturally, deeply, in the quiet spaces where truth lives. You felt safe enough to open, brave enough to trust, and hopeful enough to believe that this was love, real love, soulmate love. Stay till the end, because the universe doesn't reveal truth to punish the heart, it reveals it to free the soul. The shock isn't that your soulmate felt nothing, the shock is that they felt everything, but didn't know how to hold it. Listen to this. Love is not proven by emotion alone. Love is revealed through presence, consistency, and courage. Your soulmate felt the pull, the bond, the recognition, but instead of rising to meet it fully, they hesitated. They paused. They pulled back at the exact moments when depth required responsibility. And because the connection was real, you tried to understand instead of walk away. You told yourself love takes patience, love takes faith, love takes forgiveness. And sometimes it does. But sometimes what we call love is actually fear wearing the mask of affection. This message is for you because your soul has been whispering that something didn't quite add up, even when your heart wanted to believe harder. Don't scroll, because this is where the awakening begins. The universe has been trying to get your attention gently for a long time. Angel numbers appearing when you questioned yourself. 222 when you were trying to stay balanced and calm. 555 when something inside you felt like it was changing. 1111 when you were alone at night, asking why love felt so close yet so incomplete. Those weren't random. Those were confirmations that you were outgrowing an illusion. Listen to this carefully. Your soulmate loved you from their level of healing, not from their highest potential. They loved you in moments, not in structure. In feelings, not in action. In intention, not in follow-through. And that's why it hurt in such a confusing way, because you weren't dealing with absence of love, you were dealing with absence of readiness. Your heart needs this reminder right now. Love that is meant to stay doesn't keep you emotionally negotiating your worth. Love that is aligned doesn't require you to shrink your needs to keep the connection alive. Stay with me here, because this truth is tender but powerful. The universe allowed this connection not to teach you how to hold on tighter, but to teach you how to recognize the difference between emotional chemistry and spiritual alignment. Chemistry excites the nervous system. Alignment calms it. And deep down, you felt the difference, even if you couldn't explain it yet. Don't scroll away from this knowing. You noticed the inconsistency. The mixed signals. The way they showed up strongly and then disappeared emotionally when things became real. You noticed how you were doing the emotional heavy lifting, carrying the hope, holding the vision, trusting for both of you. That wasn't love meeting love. That was love meeting fear. And fear cannot lead a soulmate connection forward. Listen to this moment closely. The reality that will shock you isn't that they didn't care. It's that they cared, but not enough to do the inner work required to meet you where you stood. And that has nothing to do with your worth. It has everything to do with their capacity. Your heart needs this right now because you may still be blaming yourself for believing too much, loving too deeply, hoping too sincerely. But the universe never shames a heart for loving. It only corrects the direction when love is being poured into a place that cannot yet receive it. Stay till the end, because destiny is still active in your story. This revelation isn't here to leave you bitter. It's here to wake you up. When the illusion breaks, clarity rushes in. And clarity brings peace, even when it hurts at first. If this person is truly your soulmate, the universe will demand growth, accountability, and courage from them. Soulmates are not exempt from transformation. They are required to evolve. And if they refuse, the universe does not force union, it redirects you toward alignment. Don't scroll, because this next part matters deeply. You are not losing love. You are graduating from confusion. You are stepping out of emotional waiting rooms and into self-respect. The love you deserve does not keep you guessing. It does not ask you to interpret silence. It does not make you feel like you're asking for too much by wanting consistency. Listen to this carefully. The reason this truth feels heavy is because it's breaking an attachment, not a destiny. Attachments form when we invest hope into potential. Destiny forms when two people choose each other consciously. Your soulmate connection awakened you, but it is not meant to imprison you in longing. It is meant to lead you to truth. Your heart needs this reminder right now. What is meant for you will meet you in clarity, not confusion. Stay with this energy. Let it ground you. Because the universe is not taking something away, it is making room. And what comes next will not shock you with emotional whiplash. It will surprise you with peace, safety, and mutual effort. Don't scroll away from this moment of awakening. If this message resonated, if your chest feels heavy yet clear, acknowledge it. Stay connected, stay open, and subscribe in this same calm, aligned flow, because the universe is still speaking, and the next chapter is not about almost love, it's about real love finally meeting you where you stand. Don't scroll, stay right here with me, because what's coming into focus now is the deeper layer of truth your soul has already been preparing to receive, and listen to this carefully because this message is for you and your heart needs this right now even if part of you still wants to protect what you hoped this love would be. You're beginning to realize that what hurt the most was never the ending or the distance, it was the confusion. The feeling that love was present but never fully reachable. That kind of pain doesn't come from absence, it comes from inconsistency, from being emotionally seen one moment and emotionally abandoned the next. Stay till the end, because this is not about reopening wounds, it's about understanding them so they no longer control you. Your soulmate didn't love you the way your soul required, not because you weren't enough, but because they didn't yet have the emotional courage to meet love without armor. Listen to this. Some people love through longing, fantasy, and feeling, but retreat when love asks them to show up in reality. And you felt that retreat even when the words sounded right. You felt it in the pauses, in the delays, in the way responsibility felt heavy to them. That awareness didn't make you weak, it made you perceptive. Your heart needs this reminder right now. Discernment is not distrust, it's wisdom forming. Don't scroll away from this truth. The universe was watching how much emotional weight you were carrying alone, how often you explained away behavior that didn't align, how you kept believing that patience would turn potential into presence. And while patience is sacred, patience without reciprocity becomes self-abandonment. Listen to this moment closely. The signs you've been receiving weren't meant to scare you, they were meant to wake you. Angel numbers appearing when you felt torn between staying and letting go, 333 when you were seeking understanding, 555 when something inside you was shifting, 1111 when you were asking the universe if you were imagining things. Those were confirmations that you were outgrowing a dynamic that required you to shrink your needs. This message is for you because you're standing at the edge of a realization that changes everything. Love that is meant for you does not require emotional endurance tests. Love that is aligned does not keep you in cycles of hope and disappointment. Don't scroll, because this part matters deeply. The reality that will shock you isn't that your soulmate didn't care, it's that they cared, but not enough to do the uncomfortable inner work required to sustain real love. And that distinction is painful, because it means you weren't wrong about the connection, you were just ahead of them in emotional maturity. You were ready for depth. They were still negotiating with fear. And fear always limits how love is expressed. Listen to this carefully. You were not asking for too much. You were asking the right person too early, or the right person before they were ready. And timing matters in soulmate connections more than people like to admit. Soulmates awaken each other, but awakening doesn't guarantee union. It guarantees growth. Your heart needs this reminder right now because part of you may still be clinging to the idea that if you had just waited longer, loved harder, understood more, things would have changed. But love is not a performance where effort earns commitment. Love is a meeting point where two people choose courage together. Stay with me here, because this is where relief begins. The universe is not asking you to erase the love you felt. It was real. It mattered. It changed you. But it is asking you to stop confusing emotional connection with emotional availability. Someone can feel deeply and still be unable to sustain a partnership. That doesn't invalidate your experience, it explains it. Don't scroll away from this knowing. You are not losing something meant for you. You are being released from something that could only meet you halfway. And halfway love always costs the one who loves fully. Listen to this moment. You're starting to feel less desperate for answers and more anchored in self-respect. That's not you closing your heart, that's you reclaiming it. The universe is gently shifting you out of a space where you were waiting to be chosen into a space where you choose alignment instead. That shift may feel quiet, but it's powerful. Angel numbers may continue to appear as reassurance that you're supported as you let go of illusions, not punished for loving. Your heart needs this right now because clarity can feel lonely before it feels freeing. You may grieve not just the person, but the future you imagined, the version of love you hoped would grow. That grief is valid. But it is not the end of your story. Stay till the end, because destiny is not done with you. The lesson here was never that love isn't real. The lesson was that love without courage cannot lead where your soul is going. And your soul is moving toward peace, not emotional chaos disguised as passion. Don't scroll away from this truth. You are being prepared for a love that doesn't shock you with inconsistency, but surprises you with safety. A love where effort is mutual, presence is steady, and affection doesn't disappear when depth is required. What you experienced was not a mistake. It was a mirror. And now that you see clearly, you are no longer bound to repeat the cycle. Stay with this clarity. Let it settle. Because the universe doesn't reveal reality to take something from you, it reveals reality to give you yourself back. Don't scroll, stay right here with me, because what you're stepping into now is the layer where understanding turns into liberation, and listen to this carefully because this message is for you and your heart needs this right now even if you've been telling yourself you're fine. There's a quiet realization forming in you, one that doesn't arrive as panic or anger, but as a steady awareness that settles into your body and changes how you breathe. You're beginning to see that what you experienced wasn't a lack of love, it was a lack of capacity, and that distinction matters more than you realized. You felt the connection because it was real, you felt the confusion because it was incomplete. Both can be true at the same time. Stay till the end, because this isn't about rewriting the past to make it hurt less, it's about understanding it clearly enough that it no longer holds power over you. You were loving from a place of openness and courage, while they were loving from a place of fear and self-protection, and fear limits how love shows up no matter how genuine the feeling is. Listen to this moment closely. You may have noticed how you kept giving the benefit of the doubt, how you translated silence into busyness, hesitation into timing, inconsistency into complexity. You did that because your heart is generous, not because you're naive. But generosity without boundaries slowly teaches the nervous system to tolerate uncertainty, and the universe never intended for love to feel like an endurance test. Your heart needs this reminder right now. Aligned love feels stable even when it's passionate. Don't scroll away from this truth. The signs you've been receiving weren't meant to confuse you, they were meant to anchor you in clarity. Angel numbers showing up when you were trying to make sense of mixed signals, 444 when you were grounding yourself after emotional highs, 555 when something inside you whispered that change was coming, 1111 when you felt both connected and alone at the same time. Those moments were not coincidences. They were invitations to step out of interpretation mode and into truth mode. Listen to this carefully. You were not asking for perfection. You were asking for presence. You were not demanding certainty. You were asking for consistency. And the fact that those needs felt heavy to the other person tells you everything you need to know about where they were in their own healing. This message is for you because you're finally ready to stop blaming yourself for wanting more than fragments. Wanting to be chosen clearly is not too much. Wanting to be met emotionally is not unreasonable. Wanting a love that shows up when things get real is the bare minimum for a soulmate connection that's meant to grow. Stay with me here, because this is where the internal shift completes. You're no longer replaying conversations to find where you went wrong. You're no longer questioning whether you misunderstood the connection. You're beginning to see that the confusion was the information. Confusion is the body's response to incongruence, to energy that doesn't match words. And your body noticed long before your mind was ready to accept it. Don't scroll, because timing matters here. The universe waits until you're strong enough to hold the truth without collapsing into self-blame. Earlier, this realization might have shattered you. Now, it steadies you. Listen to this moment. You are not becoming colder, you are becoming clearer. You're not losing hope, you're refining it. Hope no longer means waiting for someone to change. Hope now means trusting that what's meant for you will meet you in mutual effort. That shift changes how love enters your life. Your heart needs this right now because part of you may still be grieving the idea of what could have been. That grief is real. You're not just letting go of a person, you're letting go of a story, a vision, a future you invested in emotionally. But grief does not mean you were wrong to believe. It means you were brave enough to imagine. Listen to this carefully. The universe does not punish people for loving deeply, it redirects them when love is being poured into a place that cannot yet receive it. That redirection is not rejection. It's protection. Don't scroll away from this knowing. You are not being asked to harden your heart, you are being asked to anchor it in self-respect. The next love that enters your life will not require you to translate silence or rationalize distance. It will speak in presence. It will show up in actions that align with words. And you'll recognize it not by intensity, but by calm. Stay till the end, because this is the revelation that changes everything. What shocked you wasn't the absence of love, it was the absence of courage. And courage is what allows love to move from feeling to form. Without courage, love remains potential. With courage, love becomes partnership. You were ready for partnership. They were still negotiating with fear. That doesn't make them a villain, but it does make them incompatible with where your soul is going next. Listen to this moment. You don't need closure conversations or perfect explanations to move forward. Understanding is already settling in. Your nervous system is learning that peace feels safer than emotional highs followed by silence. Your intuition is learning that consistency is a language of love. And your heart is learning that being chosen fully feels different than being wanted intermittently. Don't scroll away from this truth. The universe is aligning you with experiences that mirror the respect you're now giving yourself. That alignment may feel quiet at first, even lonely, because you're no longer feeding on uncertainty. But that quiet is fertile ground. It's where real love grows. Your heart needs this reminder right now. The love meant for you will not shock you with confusion. It will surprise you with steadiness. It will feel like exhale, not suspense. Stay present with this clarity. Let it settle into your body. Because you're not losing a soulmate, you're releasing an illusion so your true alignment can finally arrive. Don't scroll, stay right here with me, because what's opening now is the part of the truth that doesn't just explain what happened, it redefines how you see yourself in it, and listen to this carefully because this message is for you and your heart needs this right now even if you've been telling yourself you're already past it. You're reaching the point where the pain no longer feels sharp, but the clarity feels almost startling, like the fog lifting all at once and revealing a landscape you didn't know you were standing in. This is not bitterness. This is awakening. You're beginning to understand that what shocked you was not that your soulmate didn't love you, but that love alone was never the missing piece. The missing piece was emotional bravery. Love without bravery stays trapped in potential, and potential can feel intoxicating until it slowly drains the one who keeps believing in it. Stay till the end, because this realization isn't here to harden you, it's here to return you to yourself. You were not wrong for believing in the connection. You felt it because it was real. But real does not always mean ready, and intensity does not always mean alignment. Listen to this moment closely. You kept showing up with honesty, vulnerability, and presence, thinking that if love was genuine, everything else would eventually fall into place. And that belief came from a pure heart. But the universe has been gently teaching you that alignment requires more than feeling, it requires choice, consistency, and the willingness to sit in discomfort for the sake of growth. Your heart needs this reminder right now: love that avoids discomfort will always avoid depth. Don't scroll away from this truth. You were experiencing a connection where the emotional highs were real, but the emotional follow-through was inconsistent. That kind of dynamic creates confusion not because you're insecure, but because your nervous system is responding to mixed signals. And mixed signals are not neutral. They are information. Listen to this carefully. The universe was never asking you to tolerate confusion to prove your devotion. It was asking you to notice it so you could learn the difference between emotional availability and emotional chemistry. Chemistry excites. Availability sustains. You were offering availability. They were offering chemistry mixed with fear. And fear always pulls away when love asks to become real. Stay with me here, because this is where your power returns. You're starting to realize that you weren't too much. You were simply too present for someone who hadn't yet learned how to stay. You weren't asking for the impossible. You were asking for consistency, honesty, and effort. And the fact that those requests felt heavy to the other person was never a reflection of your worth, it was a reflection of their capacity at that time. Your heart needs this right now because part of you may still be replaying moments, wondering if you should have said less, needed less, loved differently. But listen to this truth. Love that requires you to edit yourself to be kept is not love that can sustain your soul. Don't scroll, because the universe is showing you something crucial. You were the stable one in a dynamic built on instability. You were the grounded presence in a connection fueled by emotional waves. And stability often feels boring to someone addicted to intensity, until they lose it and realize what it provided. Listen to this moment. The shock wasn't that they pulled away. The shock was realizing how much you had normalized carrying the emotional weight alone. You normalized waiting. You normalized interpreting. You normalized hoping. And the universe allowed that long enough for you to see it clearly, not to punish you, but to wake you up. Stay till the end, because this awakening changes how love will meet you going forward. Angel numbers may have been appearing more frequently now, not when you were desperate, but when you were calm and reflective. For 44, when you were grounding yourself in self-respect. 555, when you felt a quiet readiness for change. 1111, when you caught yourself imagining a different kind of love, one that didn't require constant emotional negotiation. Those were confirmations that you were moving out of survival mode and into alignment mode. Your heart needs this reminder right now: you are not losing love, you are refining it. Listen to this carefully. What you experienced was not a failure of love, it was a success of awareness. You learned what your soul cannot thrive in. You learned that love without accountability becomes longing. You learned that affection without consistency creates attachment, not security. And these lessons are not meant to make you guarded, they're meant to make you discerning. don't scroll away from this knowing. Discernment is the upgrade that follows heartbreak when it's integrated consciously. You're no longer chasing explanations. You're no longer waiting for closure that requires someone else's participation. Understanding is landing inside you, quietly, steadily. And that understanding brings relief even as it carries grief. Stay with me here, because grief is part of the awakening too. You're grieving the version of love you hoped this could become. You're grieving the future you imagined when things felt close. And that grief deserves compassion, not dismissal. But grief does not mean you were wrong to believe. It means you were brave enough to love with your whole heart. Listen to this moment. The universe honors that bravery by redirecting you towards something that can actually hold it. The love meant for you will not ask you to tolerate emotional ambiguity. It will not disappear when depth is required. It will not make you feel like you're asking for too much when you ask for the basics. It will meet you with the same presence you offer. Don't scroll, because this is the emotional revelation that shifts everything. The reality that shocked you wasn't that your soulmate didn't love you, it was that love without courage cannot sustain intimacy. And courage is the willingness to show up consistently, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it asks for growth. You were ready for that. They were not. And that difference matters. Your heart needs this right now because you're stepping into a new relationship with yourself, one where you no longer negotiate your needs to keep someone close. You're learning that peace is not something you earn by enduring confusion, it's something you allow by choosing alignment. Stay present with this clarity. Let it settle into your body. Because the universe is not taking something precious away from you. It's removing what could not grow with you so that what can will finally have space to arrive. Don't scroll, stay right here with me, because what's unfolding now is the moment where understanding turns into release, and listen to this carefully because this message is for you and your heart needs this right now even if you've been telling yourself you're already strong enough to move on. Strength doesn't mean the story didn't matter. Strength means you're finally ready to see it without illusion. You're reaching a stage where the connection no longer defines you, but the lessons it carried are reshaping how you love, how you choose, and how you stand in your worth. Stay till the end, because this phase is not about forgetting what you felt, it's about integrating it so it no longer controls you. You're beginning to see clearly that what kept you attached wasn't just love, it was hope. Hope that consistency would eventually match intensity, hope that potential would turn into presence, hope that emotional closeness would one day become emotional safety. And hope is powerful, but when it's one-sided, it quietly exhausts the soul. Listen to this moment closely. The universe allowed you to stay long enough to recognize the pattern fully, not so you'd blame yourself, but so you'd stop questioning your intuition. You weren't wrong for staying. You were learning. And now that learning is complete. Your heart needs this reminder right now, lessons end when awareness arrives. Don't scroll away from this truth. You are no longer the person who waits in uncertainty wondering if love will show up today. You are becoming someone who knows what love must feel like to stay. And that shift is subtle but profound. You may notice that memories don't sting the same way anymore. They feel softer, more distant, almost instructional. That's healing. That's your nervous system realizing it no longer needs to stay alert for inconsistency. Listen to this carefully. The universe is gently recalibrating your standards, not to make you demanding, but to make you discerning. You're no longer impressed by words alone. You're no longer soothed by temporary closeness. You're no longer willing to confuse longing with love. And that clarity didn't come from bitterness, it came from experience. Angel numbers may still appear during this phase, not as warnings, but as reassurance. 444 when you're grounding into self-respect, 555 when you feel ready to release old attachments, 1111 when you imagine a future that feels calm instead of chaotic. These signs are not asking you to go back, they're confirming that you're moving forward aligned. Stay with me here, because this is where the emotional weight lifts. You're starting to understand that the love you gave was real and generous, but it was given to someone who could only receive it in fragments. That doesn't diminish what you offered. It clarifies what they lacked at that time. And clarity is freeing. Don't scroll, because timing matters. The universe does not reveal the full truth until your heart can hold it without shattering. Earlier, this realization might have broken you. Now, it steadies you. You're no longer asking, "Why wasn't I enough?" You're asking, "Why did I stay when my needs weren't met?" And that question leads to empowerment, not pain. Listen to this moment. You stayed because you believed in love. You stayed because you saw potential. You stayed because you didn't want to give up on something that felt meaningful. Those reasons don't make you weak. They make you human. But now you're learning something even deeper. Love that is meant to grow meets you halfway. Love that is aligned does not require constant emotional labor from one side. Your heart needs this right now because part of you may still be afraid that releasing this story means closing yourself off to love entirely. It doesn't. It means you're closing yourself off to confusion. And confusion is not passion. It's not depth. It's a sign of misalignment. Stay till the end, because this is the revelation that sets you free. You are not walking away from love. You are walking toward a version of love that feels safe to rest in. A love where you don't have to interpret silence. A love where effort is mutual. A love where presence doesn't disappear when intimacy deepens. Listen to this carefully. The universe is not punishing you by removing what couldn't stay. It's protecting you by making space for what can. And what can will not shock you with mixed signals. It will surprise you with reliability. It will feel steady, not suspenseful. It will feel like home, not a question mark. Don't scroll away from this knowing. You are not behind in love. You are right on time for alignment. The connection you thought was your destiny served its purpose by waking you up to what your soul truly needs. And now that you see clearly, you are no longer bound to repeat the same pattern. Stay present with this clarity. Let it anchor you. Because the universe doesn't end stories to leave you empty. It ends them to return your power. And your power is no longer in hoping someone will choose you, it's in knowing you will never again abandon yourself for potential. Don't scroll, stay right here with me, because this is the moment where everything you've lived through, questioned, felt, and survived finally settles into truth, and listen to this carefully because this message is for you and your heart needs this right now, even if you feel like you've already cried enough tears over this story. There is a quiet power that arrives when illusion dissolves completely, not with drama, not with anger, but with a deep, grounding calm that says, "I see it now." You are standing in that space. This isn't the ache of loss anymore, it's the clarity of completion. You're no longer trying to convince yourself that what you felt wasn't real, and you're no longer trying to convince yourself that what you endured was acceptable. Both truths can coexist, and that's what sets you free. Stay till the end, because this is where the universe gently closes the chapter and hands you your power back. You thought your soulmate loved you, and in many ways they did, but love without the courage to show up consistently becomes a lesson instead of a destination. That realization no longer stings the way it once did, because your nervous system has finally caught up to your soul. Listen to this moment closely. You're not numb. You're integrated. You're not closed. You're grounded. You're not bitter. You're honest. The emotional roller coaster has slowed, and what's left is a steady knowing that you no longer need to interpret mixed signals, explain away absence, or hope someone will grow into what they already should have been. Your heart needs this reminder right now: peace is not boring, it's healing. The universe did not bring you this far just to leave you with confusion. It allowed you to experience love that awakened you, even if it couldn't stay, so you would never again settle for fragments disguised as intimacy. Angel numbers may still appear now, but notice how they show up differently. Not in moments of desperation, but in moments of stillness. For 44 when you feel grounded in yourself. 1111 when you imagine a future that feels calm instead of chaotic. 555 when you sense that a new chapter is closer than you think. These signs are not about going back. They're about confirming that you're aligned moving forward. Don't scroll away from this truth. You are no longer waiting for an apology, an explanation, or a realization from someone else to validate your experience. Validation has arrived internally, and that's the most powerful kind. Listen to this carefully. The reason the reality shocked you is because you loved from a place of wholeness while they loved from a place of fear. Fear does not mean they were evil or manipulative. It means they were limited. And love filtered through limitation cannot sustain what your soul was asking for. That doesn't make the connection fake. It makes it complete. Your heart needs this right now because part of you may still be asking, why did it have to hurt so much? And the answer is not because you loved wrong, but because you loved deeply in a space that could not hold that depth yet. Stay with me here, because this is the emotional revelation that brings closure without bitterness. You were not meant to save them, fix them, or wait for them to grow. You were meant to recognize yourself through the mirror they provided. And you did. You recognized your capacity for devotion, your desire for consistency, your need for emotional safety. Those discoveries are priceless. Don't scroll, because this matters. You are not walking away from love disillusioned. You are walking forward enlightened. The universe is not asking you to harden your heart. It's asking you to stop giving it to places that cannot protect it. Listen to this moment. You may notice now that the thought of them doesn't pull you apart the way it used to. There's no spike of anxiety, no urgent need to revisit the past. There's just understanding. That's how you know the lesson has integrated. Pain that hasn't been integrated demands repetition. Pain that has been integrated becomes wisdom. And wisdom changes who you allow into your life. Your heart needs this reminder right now. The love meant for you will not require emotional endurance. It will not shock you with inconsistency. It will not make you question whether you're asking for too much. It will meet you where you stand, with the same effort you give, with the same presence you offer. Stay till the end, because this is where destiny realigns. The universe does not close doors to punish you, it closes them to redirect you toward doors that open easily. The connection you thought was your final destination was actually a bridge. And bridges are not places we live, they are places we cross. You crossed it. You learned. You grew. And now you're on the other side, stronger, clearer, and far more aligned with what you truly need. Don't scroll away from this knowing. You are no longer defined by what almost was. You are defined by what you now know you deserve. And what you deserve is not potential love, not conditional love, not love that hides when things get real. You deserve love that chooses you without hesitation, that stays present without negotiation, that feels like safety instead of suspense. Listen to this carefully. The universe is already rearranging things in ways you cannot see yet. New energy is preparing to enter your life, energy that doesn't trigger your wounds but honors your growth. And when that love arrives, it won't shock you with emotional whiplash. It will surprise you with how calm it feels, how natural it feels, how little effort it takes to simply be yourself. Your heart needs this right now because this is the end of an era where love felt like something you had to survive. You're stepping into an era where love feels like something you can rest in. Stay present with this truth. Let it anchor you. Because the universe didn't reveal reality to break your heart, it revealed reality to free your soul. And what comes next will not be confusing, heavy, or uncertain. It will be clear, mutual, and steady. And when you look back on this chapter, you won't feel regret. You'll feel gratitude that it woke you up in time to meet the love that's finally aligned with who you've become.